As a Christian, it is essential to be mindful of the sources of information we consume, especially when it comes to the mainstream media. While the media can be a valuable tool for staying informed about current events, there are several reasons why Christians should approach it with caution and not blindly trust the information presented. First and foremost, the mainstream media often promotes a worldview that is diametrically opposed to Christian values. Many news outlets and media personalities openly advocate for secular humanism, relativism, and other ideologies that contradict biblical teachings. This can be seen in the way they report on issues such as abortion, same-sex marriage, and religious freedom. By presenting these issues in a way that is favorable to secular interests, the media can create a narrative that is hostile to Christian values and undermines the moral authority of Scripture. Another reason Christians should be wary of the mainstream media is its tendency to manipulate and distort information to fit a particular agenda. This can involve selectively presenting facts, omitting important context, or even outright fabricating stories to advance a particular narrative. For example, during the 2020 US presidential election, several major news outlets were caught spreading false and misleading information about conservative candidates and policies. This kind of biased reporting can be damaging to Christians who rely on the media for information, as it can create confusion and mistrust. Furthermore, the mainstream media often exhibits a profound lack of understanding and respect for Christian beliefs and practices. This can be seen in the way they report on Christian-related news stories, often using language and terminology that is insensitive or inaccurate. For instance, many media outlets have been known to refer to conservative Christians as extremists or fundamentalists, implying that they are somehow dangerous or backward. This kind of loaded language can create a negative perception of Christians among non-believers and even among some believers themselves. In addition, the mainstream media's obsession with sensationalism and controversy can be detrimental to Christian values such as humility, kindness, and compassion. By fixating on scandalous or provocative stories, the media can create a culture of outrage and division, which can be corrosive to Christian community and witness. For example, the media's constant emphasis on political polarization and conflict can create a sense of hopelessness and despair among Christians, leading them to doubt the effectiveness of their faith in addressing the world's problems. Moreover, the mainstream media's influence on popular culture can be particularly problematic for Christians. By promoting a steady stream of immoral and hedonistic content, the media can shape societal attitudes and behaviors in ways that are contrary to Christian teaching. This can be seen in the proliferation of explicit language, violence, and sexuality in TV shows, movies, and music, which can desensitize Christians to the sinful nature of these things and undermine their commitment to biblical standards of morality. Finally, the rise of social media has created new challenges for Christians seeking to navigate the complex landscape of modern media. On platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, misinformation and disinformation can spread rapidly, often with little regard for factuality or accountability. This can be particularly problematic for Christians, who are called to be wise and discerning in their online interactions. By being mindful of these risks and taking steps to verify the accuracy of information, Christians can avoid being misled by false or misleading reports and instead cultivate a more informed and nuanced understanding of the world around them. In conclusion, while the mainstream media can be a valuable source of information for Christians, it is essential to approach it with a critical and discerning eye. By recognizing the media's biases, distortions, and influences, Christians can avoid being misled and instead seek out alternative sources of information that align with their values and worldview. Ultimately, this requires a commitment to biblical wisdom, critical thinking, and media literacy, as well as a willingness to engage in nuanced and respectful dialogue with those who may hold different perspectives. By doing so, Christians can cultivate a more informed and thoughtful approach to media consumption, one that honors their faith and promotes a more just and compassionate society.